Welcome to another episode of Geek-men and the Masters of the Thunder Nerds. I'm Dustin.
And I'm Zombie 13, as always.
Indeed. Indeed you are. So, before we get into movies, I believe you said you had something in the box.
Yep, I've got a few things. I got some stuff in trade from David Williams from Mythic Legion's Cabal.
Yeah. Ooh, oh, nice.
The Mask of the Red Death. That's from Four Horsemen Studios. This is their Figura Obscura line that they put out. They did a version of Santa, and Handles Horseman, Krampus.
Yeah.
And this is their fourth figure in the line so far. He's really cool. I opened him up and kind of messed around with him, but didn't have time to really get into enjoying him or whatever. So I got that. That isn't the only thing he put in the box.
Ooh.
He sent me these too.
Oh, nice.
So picked up.
Were those the two you needed?
These are going to be custom fodder, to be honest with you. I have plans. So that's really cool. I got that. And then did some trading with him to get those things. I'm putting some stuff together for him. And then I picked this up today, kind of in the spirit of Halloween, from my buddy Travis over at Omega Level Toys and Comics.
Yeah.
This is the McFarlane Monsters playset, Dr. Frankenstein. And I got him because this is Eric Treadaway.
Yeah.
He is the master sculptor for Four Horsemen Studios. He's a madman. So
yeah.
He put his likeness back in the day on this figure.
Right.
Had to get it.
Yeah.
So I think the only one that I don't have now is the Nobody figure that has Jim's head in it from the McFarlane days, from when the Horsemen were working with them.
Yeah.
So I gotta track that one down.
Hey, hi Jessica.
Hey Jess.
All right. So
what'd you get?
Also you're planning on having an event, an appearance at Omega Love Toys, right?
Yep. And I'm very unprepared. I didn't get the picture or anything.
I just sort of sprung it on you.
Yeah, no.
It's on my Instagram page.
I totally meant to do that. I meant to have a slide ready, and I just completely forgot. I broke my light right before the show, so I had to fix it. But yeah, here in Slidell, Louisiana, next weekend, October 21st, which is Saturday from 12 to 6, I'm going to be at Omega Level Toys and Comics to help promote Legions as a whole, not just Mythic or Cosmic, but both. But they do have a full stock, and they've got a lot of Cosmic Wave 1, Cosmic Legions Wave 1 there. So anybody that shows up, I'm going to talk your ear off and try to sell you some toys. I'll have some stuff from my customs and things. We're going to set up a table, and it's going to be very hands-on. It's not like, oh, no, don't touch anything. No, right. When I make a custom, you can play with it. You can move it. It's not a static piece of art. It can take, being moved around or whatever. Like this guy here that I just did today.
Yeah.
The Jason Voorhees version of a Mythic Legions figure. And he's totally painted from head to toe. All the joints are painted on him. You can move him. It's not going to chip the paint. Move the elbow, paint's still there.
Yeah.
It's not chipping off. It's there. Some people say you can't paint the joints. Yeah, you can if you know what you're doing. But in the spirit of Friday the 13th, I put this guy together. So he's cool. He'll probably be there unless somebody wants to buy him.
Yeah. Jess says she'd stop by, but you live far away. Yeah, he does.
I do. I live far away from everybody. I'm in the South.
Yeah. She loves Jason.
Yeah, Jason.
I still
had
haven't
to.
seen all
And
the Friday the 13th movies.
I've got the, sporting the shirt with a 13 on it
Yeah.
today.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
goodness.
it's gonna be fun. I'll be there all day and probably dehydrated and hungry and we'll see. Maybe I don't know. I gotta figure out. Maybe I can do a live if things aren't too crazy and too busy.
Yeah.
We might set
That'd be
something
fun.
up. Do a store preview for everybody. So because I know I talk about them every stinking show.
Yeah. And we still need to talk him into coming on the show sometime.
Yeah, Travis, he's busier than me, and you know how busy I am.
Yeah.
He just got a promotion at his day job, so he not only owns the shop, he has an actual day job that he has to do, and it was a pretty big promotion. Let's see, I know they're closed on Mondays. Omega Level Toys and Comics. They're closed on Mondays, and they're closed Thursday, but they're closed but not closed. Like Thursday, you can't just walk in because he does a lot of whatnot sales.
Yeah.
So he's preparing for all of that or whatever. But like if you're in town and there's something that you're gonna pick up, you're gonna buy it, and you message him and you let him know, hey, this is kind of the only time I'm gonna be able to swing by or whatever. He'll probably let you in and do the purchase or whatever. But
yeah.
Other than that, like he's there sometimes in the afternoons or whatever. He's got a brother that works there and a couple of other employees, so he's not just full time in that shop. So we'll have to figure out his schedule and get him on.
Absolutely. Oh man.
So, other than my what's in the box, did you get?
Yes, I did. I there are things I've had, but just haven't got around to opening. So I opened.
Opening counts. Hey, you can have it for a year. I don't care. You open it, you got to enjoy it. It's new.
I got the Grand Inquisitor, and you could see more pictures of this stuff and reels on my Instagram. So yeah, I got him, and I opened. Where'd he go? He was right here. Here we go. Fifth brother. And this one, I really like the way his lightsaber sits on his back there. It's just so magnificent. The Grand Inquisitor is a little annoying. It's very fiddly. It has two pegs on here that you have to squeeze between his cape, and like the slightest bump of his cape will knock it off. So it's a little annoying, but it's fine because I mean, I've only had him holding it, and I mean, I think it works well. But yeah, he's a cool fun figure.
Yeah, I think if I've got them on my shelf or whatever, they're going to be holding those lightsabers in some form or fashion. And
right.
Those things are too cool not to have, front and center.
Exactly. Well, and I mean, I had positioned it, and the way it just like unfolded, it just looked exactly like how they hold them in the show, and it's just like, oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. Oh yeah, but
need to find one of those third-party attachments to make it look like it's got the blades on it that are spinning.
Oh yeah, I didn't know they had those.
I've seen them, and I don't remember who had them. I don't save things like that for some reason. It just doesn't occur to me. I see it and I go, ooh, and then I scroll again.
Yeah. I mean, I need to do that, and I want to. And this is a question for toy people out there. Do you know of a Darth Vader that has a better ab crunch or movement in his torso? I mean, he's pretty stiff, but I just wondered if that's because I really wanted him to kneel in front of Palpatine, and I was having trouble getting him to do that. And so, yeah, I was just wondering if one of the new figures that I haven't picked up might
Yeah,
have it.
I'm not sure about Hasbro because Hasbro's they're hit or miss. They can
Right.
knock something out of the park, and then the rest of it, is just garbage.
Yeah.
You may have to look outside of Hasbro. There may be like a model kit, like one of those. I forget who puts them. Maybe Bandai or something.
Okay.
Because if you're gonna do something like that, like you could get him. Those things are usually, you just cut them off the spurs and they pop together. You could just have him as your kneeling pose Vader, and then have like a Hasbro figure like that one or whatever be like your main one on the shelf.
Yeah.
Big, tall, standing in front of a bunch of the stormtroopers or whatever, and that sort of thing.
I really liked his height in comparison to Padme. I posed the two of them together,
massive.
And it's just like it makes you go like, wow.
I did a pose of them together.
Yeah.
The Vader and the Padme that I have a couple of years ago, I think. Maybe it was last year. I don't remember, but it was pretty much that pose where he's just kind of standing there or whatever, and she's like, "Oh, Annie."
Yeah, that's the exact thing. That's the exact photo that I'm referring to. That I was like, oh man, now I need those. And so when I got it, I did the same thing. I posed them in the same way, and then had reels and stuff like that. And I sent them to a couple people, and they're just like, "Why are you doing this to me?" Because I guess they're OB or Anakin and Padme fans.
That's cool.
But yeah, so that's that, and I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I have a mountain of toys around me. I mean, this is probably the last thing I got, other than the Star Wars stuff. This is the last thing I got. Orange Piccolo, and this dude is just insane, so massive.
It looks awesome.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun.
I've always liked his character.
Yeah, and I want to get the regular Piccolo, but I want the one with the cape and crossed arms. But I saw that I can get the superhero one, and then there's someone online that sells the cape for it separately, of course, but it's wired and would be really cool. But those are on my far off to-do list. Right now I'm
the wish list.
yeah I'm pumped about as I said in the last episode, I'm pumped about the Ahsoka show, and I'm wanting to get all those figures. I need them.
I don't know. I'm probably not going to do them. I saw the Ezra figure. I held in my hand today, and I already have. I have the Rebels. They're not on the shelf yet, but I've got them whenever they originally released those, and those were supposed to be like their take on a real life version based off of the look of the anime. Mm-hmm. So it's not full on animated representations of those characters already. So now this is a real version of the characters or whatever. I don't know. I've got a bone to pick about the Sabine one because of the ginormous helmet.
Yeah, well,
that's one that if I had it, I would rip the head off and replace it with a third-party helmet that's the correct size.
Yeah,
for the body. But I mean, it's
I
like
was thinking,
it's like seriously. Okay, no. I've got to give a little bit of shit to Hasbro for this. It's like if you took a 5-gallon bucket, drew the T visor on it, and stuck it over your head. Okay, I'm sorry, that doesn't look good.
right?
That's what that figure looks like to me. It looks like she's got a 5-gallon bucket on her head.
It does, but I will say, um, I've been playing with the original one, the original Sabine, and that helmet is so tight on her head
It
that I
is.
that is why they made it bigger. And but
I don't
in the made
know.
it bigger, they made it too big. They just
Yeah.
went too far the other way.
So, I mean, some of the others from the Mandalorian series, those are a little bit oversized, but not like this new one. This new
Yeah,
one
yeah.
is so much bigger than all of the others. If you see the lineup of it, if you're on Instagram or whatever, and you go see comparisons that people have made, it's ridiculously big.
Well, I replaced the helmet on my Mando. I think we both did, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found those $5 figures, and oh no,
No.
wait, no, not for yours. Yeah, yours. I got those from
I want to say
man,
JP J
what is his
Johnny Walker Customs.
John Walker
Yeah,
Customs?
yeah,
Yes. And the thing about those, I remember them now. They were solid.
yeah.
I had to Dremel out that helmet because there was no hole for the peg or whatever. So I had to hollow those out. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
It worked.
Man, I forgot all about that.
Yeah. Well, it
I had
worked.
to look at
And
mine on the shelf over here.
well, it worked, and I think it looked a lot better. But
Yeah, that one, the first one that they released, well, not just the first one, the first and the second one, because the first
mhm,
one was his premier armor, where it's all patchwork, and
brown,
then
yeah,
the Beskar when he first gets the Beskar or whatever, it's the same head on both of those figures, and it's smushed.
yeah,
It's smushed this way, not this way.
right.
But the new one for Sabine is just smushed this way. It's
It's like someone was trying to blow a bubble inside.
Oh, I'm gonna be laughing about that for a while now.
Oh goodness,
Oh,
but
jeez.
yeah, I don't know. That's So yeah, I did that, and um trying to stay on topic here. But yes, so yes, Orange Piccolo, blah blah blah. Yeah, okay, Sabine. Okay, right. All right,
Yeah.
now I had to retrace my thoughts back to
No,
what
I'm
I was
sorry.
trying to
That's my fault.
talk, talk about. Um,
The
so
Ahsoka figures.
yeah, the Ahsoka figures. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to those. I want a Rosario Dawson, Ahsoka figure, because
So
I
wait a
just think
minute.
that
You don't have one? You didn't get the one from the Mandalorian series?
did they make one?
Yeah,
I
because
didn't get it.
this one's just a repack of that figure's really
Mm.
all it is. Just like Chopper. Chopper's just a repack.
Right? Yeah, I noticed that Chopper is too, but
I could have swore you had an Ahsoka already
I
from the
do.
Mandalorian series.
Nope. I have one from the Clone Wars season 7, and then one from um Rebels.
Right?
But then you thought that because one of
Like
them
I
the
have
elbow
one.
broke, and you ended up picking one up for me.
Oh yeah. I
Second
got
one for me, and so I have
yeah.
two of the Rebels
Okay.
Ahsokas.
So
No. Two of the season 7 Ahsoka.
I have the one from the Mandalorian wave.
Hmm.
So it's a pretty cool figure.
Yeah.
She's got them oddball baggy pants like Boba Fett did that one figure where he's in the Tuscan robes.
Yeah. Well,
So
or
they're
these.
not they're not as bad as his,
Yeah.
but it's still kind of that wonky kind of articulation going on with it. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a pretty good figure. What they
Yeah.
should have done for hers, for her own series, was did her in the white robes. Which
Well, they still might.
I
They
mean,
haven't.
yeah, they still could, but when they were doing these figures, I mean, I don't know. We'll save that for the show where we talk about the
That's okay.
Ahsoka series. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Anything else?
I think I'm done. Just a quick mention. I don't even know the date, so I'm not prepared to announce that. Anyway, go to my Instagram page. You'll at Masters of the Thunder Nerds. You'll see that I have the ad promoting zombie at Omega, and then you'll also have an ad for Bo Chapel doing a signing at Comics and Candy, that store down in his area. So that'll be fun. So do that, please. Now,
We should we should have planned a little bit better.
well, it is what it is.
It's been a long
It
week
has.
for me. It's just my work schedule got flipped upside down pretty much, so I'm exhausted. I'm sorry. But hey, I'm here. I made it.
Yeah.
So
So
let's
let's talk
let's
about
get
those
into the
movies.
movie. Jess, do I have a bone to pick with you?
Oh
Oh,
goodness.
you sold me on this movie and mentioned Bruce Campbell's name. And 15 minutes into the movie, I'm going, am I watching the right movie? I think I even messaged you and I
Yeah.
said, I think I'm watching the wrong movie. Because, like, as soon as the show ended last week, what was it on? Like Tubi? It's on Tubi or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't have Tubi before. I downloaded Tubi. I'm like, okay. It is Bruce Campbell, but not Bruce Campbell like you'd expect.
She
um,
says it's so bad it's good.
oh,
We'll
no, I'm
get
not.
into that.
Yeah,
No,
we'll get into all of
so
that. But, I was expecting like a
Bruce
Bruce
Campbell to
Campbell
be the
movie, and
main
I didn't
character.
get
Yeah, no. No,
it.
he was just a random cop at the end. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, wait, there's Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for him to pop up this whole time.
Like I'm seriously 15, 20 minutes in and I get my phone out. I'm like, have I got the right movie? I type in Intruder,
Mm-hmm.
1989, Bruce Campbell, and of course it pulls up pictures and stuff. I'm like, he's a cop? Of course he's a cop. Okay, I see where this is going. So I stuck with it. I
Yeah.
finished the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched it this week too, and I honestly, it wasn't the worst thing I've seen.
Oh no, not by a
So
long
so
shot.
for Jessica to say that it's so bad it's good, I would disagree. I think it was
This
pretty good, considering especially the things we watched on this. You
no,
said not a traditional horror movie. I
you're
thought it was.
you're no. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
The stipulations that we had for our horror movie marathon for October was no mainstream horror.
Yeah.
No Freddy Krueger's, no Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, no
Right.
Scream, none of the pop culture phenomenon things that everybody's come to love. We wanted
Right.
obscure, and this I'd never even heard of this until
Right.
last week.
Yeah. It definitely. Yeah. She agrees. So yeah. Definitely. I think
Yeah,
it
no,
fits.
yeah,
I thought
it absolutely fit the criteria.
yeah. I honestly thought it was pretty good. There were a lot of artsy kind of shots. If you break it down and look at the shots. They were very artsy. Like
I think
someone gets his
that's
eye
Sam
stabbed.
Raimi's.
It felt very reminiscent of all those, Mike Myers, Jason Voorhees, all those horror movies of the era
you
and
could
that
make
are doing those shots.
you could make a checklist of
Yeah,
things that need to happen in horror movies in the 80s, and this hits every single one
exactly.
of them.
Yeah,
I
body
mean,
dismemberment. Check.
it was made in 1989, so
Yeah,
they squeezed every bit of 80s that they could into this movie.
yeah,
Like, okay, I remember my mom used to work at a grocery store, so I would get to see behind like the areas that people that shop there don't get to see.
yeah.
And it looked just like the scenes in this movie did. I'm going, oh my god.
You're in flashbacks.
I'm on PSD. Ah. PTSD.
Yeah.
No,
Did it
yeah,
include the
it was
creepy attic thing?
the artsy thing that you were talking about. I think that's very much Sam Raimi's style.
Yeah,
Even I, I mean, you look at some of his other movies, and then you look at this one, and it's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, yeah, very much so. And I mean, there's one shot in particular that I liked. It was when the dude gets stabbed in the eye, and then blood drips down, and it's the light is aiming up at the ceiling, and it's dripping on the light and making the entire ceiling look red. And it's just like, that's a pretty cool scene.
Oh God, we have one of those things at work too, and I look at it every time. Before I even saw this movie, I'm going, "Oh God, that would hurt."
Yeah.
I try not to let the intrusive thoughts win.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I mean, when
yeah, like how? Okay, the geeky dude that had the Walkman or whatever they were back then. How
yeah,
long was that damn song he was listening to? It was the same song the
I
entire
know.
time.
Yeah, it's like they forgot to change tracks to a different thing. I think that was probably the only song they could afford, and that's why it was just sort of like on repeat.
No,
But
he recorded that off the radio and
yeah,
recorded it every time it came on, so you just have it on endless loop.
yeah. Oh goodness, the days when we used to do that.
Oh, I know,
Ugh.
right? I would. Oh, I'm gonna go off on a little tangent here. I would take, because I had one of those stereos that had two tape decks on it. And I'd
Yep.
turn the radio on, and I would just flip like random radio stations, and then I would hit record and then stop, and then record and then stop, and then record and then stop, and just keep doing that. And me and my cousin would play that back, and sometimes it would be so hilarious because it would stitch words together where there weren't words,
Yeah.
and it would be so funny. It's we would do it to songs and commercials or whatever, and it was hilarious. We laughed and laughed for hours.
That would be pretty funny. I never did that because my mom wouldn't let me near that part of the recorder. It was always very, very much like, this is a controlled space. She would sit down and have the tape on the thing, and okay, now I'm gonna do this. Record. Oh goodness.
That's funny.
But yeah, no, I remember those days.
So the movie starts, okay, and it's a normal setup. You got
Mhm.
people, young teenage people working in a grocery store or whatever. You got two managers in the office doing whatever.
Mhm.
So this one girl, her ex-boyfriend comes
That she
up
only
there.
dated for like a couple months.
Yeah, and like he was in prison and just got out or whatever, and he's harassing her a little bit. And you're like, man, what a jerk. He's
Yeah.
the typical, he's got the leather jacket on, and it's they really set him up.
Yep.
To be like he's the guy, So through the whole movie, you're
Well, and
watching,
see,
and
when
then
they were pushing him so hard, I'm like, okay, I was thinking he can't be the killer because they're pushing for him to be the killer too hard.
right. So already I'm going, okay, either it's really obvious that this guy is
Yeah.
going to be doing it, or you know, I'm thinking before I had my phone and looked it up, I'm thinking, okay, Bruce Campbell's going to be the killer. He's going to be the killer.
Yeah.
He's just going to be there for no reason, whatever, you know, whatever it is, you know, because then whenever they show some of the killings start happening, they show an arm,
Yeah.
and it's not a leather jacket arm.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going, okay, it's got to be Bruce Campbell. Where is he going to pop in? You know, so the whole time I'm going, it's got to be him. It's got to be him. But you know, I spoiled it. I looked it up, and I'm going, okay, no, he's not in until the end.
Yeah.
So you know, the whole time it's like, well, who broke into the store?
Right. I
Oh
mean,
man.
things were, and okay, I know people are dumb, but I mean, someone just throwing the box cutter over and it stabs him in his hand. It's just like, oh my gosh.
You say that, but stuff like that happens on a daily basis. it's it's instinct to when you see something to you know if something's thrown at you, you want to grab it or whatever, or like if you've got like with me, I've had to make myself stop the hobby knives and stuff, little
Mm-hmm.
X-Acto knives. If I've got them on my table or whatever, and they roll off or they drop, I have to stop myself from trying to reach and grab it
Right.
because I'll slice my hand open, you know. But or that, or you know, move out of the way. I'm like, oh, so I don't cut myself open. But I've seen it happen in person. People
Yeah.
catch a knife or you know a sharp object or whatever and shouldn't have.
Yeah.
It's coming at you. Just move. Let it happen. Move.
Yeah.
Pick it up.
Well, I mean, you know, it was one of those things. It's just like, man, don't do that. But
Yeah, well,
he was
people
milking it
always.
real good. He's just like, oh man, I'm real cut. Oh man, it must be real deep. And he goes and walks off, and there's way more blood than would have ever popped up from that.
I don't know. I don't
It's
know.
like he must have cut an artery.
I've cut my man. If you cut yourself on the fingertips, have you ever cut your fingertip open? Man, it bleeds. It bleeds and bleeds.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to stop sometimes. Your hands are full of all kinds of small little blood vessels. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, sometimes they overdo it in movies. You
Yeah.
know, it's that more blood, more blood.
Yeah. You know, I just watched something earlier that was talking about a show I liked, and it was Mike Flanagan's. I'm blanking on the name. Oh, Midnight Mass, and how they were pushing for more blood. We need to have a scene. They need to explain why the cats are dying and all this stuff. And it's just like it was evident. Like, I mean, you didn't need to explain it. but the TV execs, the movie execs, or the Netflix, the people at Netflix were like, "Oh, you need this, and he's just like kept pushing away, and finally he ended up like, to make a long story short, he ended up basically proving that okay, in order to do this, it would take way too much time and effort, and would cost this much money. And they're like, "Oh, okay, well, all right, fine. Well, we won't." So I don't know.
So there's this kind of unspoken contest in horror movies where they try to hold the record for most on-screen blood in a scene,
Mm-hmm.
and it was supposed to be The Shining for a long time. I think the scene ended up. It's been a long time since I've seen it, so I'm not sure. it may be in like a director's cut or something, but there was a scene that got cut from the original where like the hallways just there were just rivers of blood just pouring out of just anything and everywhere it could come out of or whatever, and just this river of blood just being in the hallway, one of the hallways or whatever. But I think they filmed it, but it didn't. I don't know. I'd have to look it up again or whatever. But um, A Cabin in the Woods actually kind of paid homage to that scene, where blood rushing into this one particular area and just kind of filling the room and everything. And then I think somebody like calculated how much blood that was or whatever, and then Cabin in the Woods held the record for a while. And now I don't know if anything outdid that one or not, but that's another good movie I'm gonna have to put on the list to see this month again. That was a great one.
All right, so here's a question for all y'all, whoever's out there listening, maybe with movies. Okay, so to preface this, I recently watched Meg 2. So, having watched Meg 2, Deep Blue Sea, Open Water, all those really fantastic shows, fantastic movies, is there even a point to watching the first Jaws? Like, is there something that dramatic that it's like, oh, this has never been done before in Jaws? Or is it just the cool music and awesome soundtrack?
I think, for me personally, aside from the nostalgia of it, it's they don't always show the shark. And in these other more modern movies or whatever with computer technology now, you can actually have a good looking shark in the scenes. Something they wished they could do with Jaws. But even in just the opening scene of the movie with the woman swimming out in the ocean or whatever, and then that first little tug, and she's like, oh, whoa, what was that? And then she's gone. That's terrifying to me. That's that the unseen nature of it to me is more terrifying than seeing a computer generated megalodon times 20 on the screen or whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, or there was also an octopus that was in the one episode or one scene and was pulling people under the water and stuff. So it's like, I get the point, but yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things. And Jessica says she hated Jaws.
A lot of people do.
I've never seen it, and it's just one of those things. Like, again, I wanted to go back and watch some of the original ones, but I'm sitting there watching Meg 2 this week, and it's like, do I really need to? Do I really? Because it's just pretty much going to be the same thing, just less.
It's not really. It's not. I wouldn't categorize Jaws as like an action flick, as compared to the other ones. That's not really what it set out to be. The original Jaws, really what they set out to do was, play on, your fears of pretty much being eaten.
Yeah.
You are not always in control. When you are in another environment, you are not the top of the food chain.
Right.
And it worked. It caused a sensation to sweep the world. I mean, I remember being a little kid terrified of any kind of water. It didn't matter what it was, in a bathtub, in a swimming pool, whatever it was. Like, I was petrified.
You can never go down, can never go down, can never go down the drain.
Oh, I had thoughts of the shark coming up out of the drain in the pool or whatever, and they'd tell me they can't come in water that's chlorine in the pool and all that stuff, and it just didn't matter. I was like, no.
So Jess says, People say the same thing about Saw movies, that it's the same every movie. But okay, so you're a fan of the Saw movies. Would you say that it's the same every movie? Roughly.
I know what it is for me with the Saw movies. Like the first Saw movie is not like the other Saw movies.
Yeah.
Like after the first one, yeah, they all kind of get a little bit repetitive. I've seen bits and pieces of them, and I ain't watching them things. I ain't watching the movies. I can't.
If she can't see or touch the bottom of the water, refuse to get in it. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
See, that's kind of a rule down here where I live.
Well,
you don't go swimming in a body of water that you can't see through, because we have shit that'll eat you for real. We have alligators and all kinds of nasty little critters that live down here that can really mess you up if you're in their area and they don't want you to be. They have mouths and they bite.
Okay, so she says kinda, but she does love them. So
hey, more power to you. If that's your thing, that's what you like.
Yeah.
I'm
There's
not
nothing wrong with that. I mean, there are people that, in my life that hate on me for Star Wars, my love for Star Wars and other things.
No
like
hate.
Princess Bride.
Hate. I'm just saying, Saw movies are not for me. And another series that's not for me is Hostel.
Yes.
Hostel,
no. The first
no.
Or maybe it was the second. One of the Hostels, they cut off this dude's eye. And I'm just like, no. It turned my stomach, and I'm just like, absolutely not. Nothing with eyes. Nothing with eyes. Nothing with eyes. And then, of course, now people know that I don't like stuff with eyes in it. So they purposely send stuff to me with eyes. Like, I'm not saying, Jessica, you did this out of malice for me for the eye thing that happened to the one guy. But no, my one buddy, Gunner, who does art. He did art for us for Aphotic Realm, and he would draw eyes all the time, and he'd send it to me, and it's just like, it's just like,
no.
Yes, the Hostile eye scene is literally one that turned my stomach and made me. I was after I watched that. I think it was Saw 2 or 3, when I think it was when they were cutting in his brain, and I just got like deathly white, and I was so sick. I was just like, oh, I can't watch this anymore.
No.
Yeah. No, so I get it.
Not doing it.
But I may have to go back and watch. I mean, my wife is into horror movies, so if I say that I'm watching a horror movie, it's probably because of her. I mean, I prefer, sci-fi or fantasy or other things like that. But
yeah,
I'm coming to like horror, like more and more and more. Like with every movie I watch, it's like, all right, that was fun. That was fun.
Well, there's good horror, and then there's just rotten. Like, oh, I can't believe I just sat through that and watched that.
Yes, and I had that experience recently. It was some Korean film, and it was just the absolute worst movie. Because it was on one of those TikTok things where April's like, "Oh, we need to watch this movie. It's this movie on whatever on Netflix," and they're saying no one can get through the first 15 minutes. And
something just fell behind me, and I don't know what it was. I just see this thing go. Whoop.
It was a toy, probably.
No, that's the thing. There's nothing up on the top shelf except for a couple of them have been opened, but the rest of them are in boxes. I don't know what that was. I'm going to go back and, what's the time stamp? About 45 minutes. I'm going to go back and look at that. What was that?
It was a good. But yeah, so what was I saying?
Your Korean movie. I don't know.
Yeah, the Korean movie. It was god awful. But we get to the end of the movie, and I look over at April, and I'm just like, this was the movie, right? That no one could get through, and
No one
we're
could get
both
through the first
looking like
15
puzzled,
minutes
like
because,
what
yeah,
what the heck was that? I mean, it was
it was so bad. That's why people couldn't get through the first 15
yeah,
minutes.
yeah. No one prefaced that though. They said it was too scary, and it's just like that was scary. Like we were waiting for something to be scared. Nope, nothing. Never happened.
uh,
I mean, but so now we're into watching a lot of the uh like demonic possession movies and stuff like that, which I normally didn't like, but I've got through them and they're fine. Um, but we watched Pope's Exorcist and then The Nun 2, and then we went back and watched The Nun, the first Nun, and it's like these movies are so similar. Like we were so confused trying to figure out like, okay, which one's which. It's like, oh, okay, now I'm with it. Now I'm on the right page. It's just, it was funny, but
yeah, I haven't seen them either.
the Conjuring
Cool.
universe is pretty entertaining. That whole little universe they have going on, I'm excited about that. But
I've we've been doing for our family movie night, the kids have picked some scary movies to watch, you know.
mm-hmm.
So the first one was we watched Sleepy Hollow with Johnny Depp and oh, what's her name? Christina Ricci.
Mm.
Well, at least I think that's who that was. Of course, my youngest, she's 11. Anytime anything happened, she had the blanket covering up. Let's see the other one. I've been I've been running the roads and working on him all day.
Yeah.
No, what was the other one? The Crow.
Oh, yeah.
They picked the Crow, the first one, and we watched that. And then
how they've handled it though.
They've been
other than the blanket,
pretty good about it. Oh, my youngest, she doesn't like scary things like that at all. Another one that they've picked that we haven't got to yet was Critters, so that should be entertaining.
Yeah.
I end up watching the kids more than I do these movies because I've seen them 100 times.
Yeah. I've never seen the Critters, so.
But besides that, yeah, I think everybody loved that first one. Besides that, I've been watching some movies that I've never seen before. Like I stuck to like the non, mainstream popular movie thing, even just in my personal watching, and I say watching, I've got it on while I'm doing other stuff here at my desk, but something happened and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But let's see, I'm probably not going to be able to remember all of them. I watched Blackula.
Oh.
Yeah, man, that one had me laughing. I just watched The Mouth of Madness, which was weird. Like I don't know if it was based off a Stephen King book, but it had a very Stephen King feel to
Lovecraft.
it. Hot take, I might catch some hell for this. I'm not a big Stephen King fan.
Oh yeah.
I think he's overrated. I just don't get it.
Yeah, a lot of people do. You're not the only one.
I'm like, I don't get it.
The things that I like the most aren't his like bestsellers. They just don't seem to be his bestsellers. I mean, I really liked the Gunslinger, but the movie Gunslinger, even though it has Idris Elba in it, I've never watched because it's nothing like the books. So I don't know. But anyway, I like that trilogy, and well, it's more than a trilogy. It's 8 books, I think. But regardless,
I can't remember the other ones off the top of my head. We'll
that
probably
one
talk
was
about
based on
something else.
H.P. Lovecraft. Yes, Dark Towers. That was nothing like the original Gunslinger that Stephen King wrote about. And the original Gunslinger was just a half-baked idea that he then turned into a novel. But anyway,
do you want to talk about any of the killings in Intruder?
What was your favorite?
Favorite? Probably the bandsaw. Just straight across under the eyes, between the eyes.
That one was really good because I mean they had things splattering, and it's just like, oh wow, that's really good. I thought that was a pretty good scene.
That one was probably like, oh. The others, I mean, the way he went about offing each one was like he did it in a way like, yeah, this was the area you work at, so this is how I'm gonna get you. Oh man.
Yeah, I'll reference the same scene, and the scene that I liked the most was the eye scene, ironically, just because of the lamp that they had aimed up at the ceiling that had the blood flow over. I was like, oh, that's a really neat, nice trick, I guess, so to speak. It's like that was a cool idea. But yeah, hats off to him who thought of that. But
I mean, where I work, we've got a bandsaw in the shop. There is a box crusher on site. So I'm looking at that box crusher. The first time it gets on screen, it's like, somebody's going in the box crusher.
Yep.
That was the first thought I had, was somebody's going in the box crusher, and that would be terrifying. Oh, but it wasn't his whole self.
Yeah, it was definitely unexpected. I was expecting a full body to go in there, but it wasn't.
It was enough to get the job done.
Yep.
Oh God! But what about the girl's boyfriend? She's got that meat hook, and she just plants it right in his collarbone area, and I'm going, holy shit! Oh my God! She just killed him.
Oh goodness. Yeah.
But she didn't.
Yeah. I don't know.
He just kind of got up and like, oh yeah, okay. Oh, it's not me, I promise.
Yeah. Not me, I'm not the killer. Oh goodness. But I don't know. There were quite a few scenes that were really entertaining. But yeah, I'd say hats off to Jessica for picking that. I had never heard of it, and it was very entertaining, I thought. So
there was a few scenes in it that I kind of scratched my head going, why did they do it that way? Like her boyfriend, after he broke in, he would just pop up randomly in places instead of just coming, to her going, hey, your manager like flipped the hell out and tried to kill me or something.
Right.
He like knocked me out and we got to get out of here. No, he just like creeped up through one of the aisles and was just standing there watching her, and then he
Right.
fucking disappeared again.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Well, it's either that, well, yeah, there was the other guy that was
like
like
the
fondling
one.
her on the conveyor belt thing.
Well, there was like
The
the
checkout
one
aisle.
scene that where the guy was in the attic and he's beating on the little security thing trying to get her attention, and he sees her boyfriend standing behind her,
Mm-hmm.
but then like she turns around and he's not there anymore.
Right.
Like, wait a minute, where did he go? Why did he run off? I don't know. It was post editing or whatever. Who knows?
It was entertaining to say the least. So
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't horrible.
no way.
It wasn't uninvited horrible.
That one was so terrible. It was funny. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So Zombie, your picks for next week,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yeah. Since I'm the only one that showed up tonight. Kidding.
Kidding.
No, yeah. So I'm gonna do two. There's gonna be two movies.
All right.
Not a choice. You gotta watch both of them. And they're not related. Okay, so the first one is called Uncle Peckerhead.
Okay.
And I don't have a slide prepared. I don't have nothing pulled up or whatever, but it is on Tubi. So that's you can watch it if you got Tubi. It's on Tubi. I know because I watched it again. I'm like, yeah, okay, it's here. So I'll set up the premise of it. Here is there's a young aspiring punk band trying
Wait.
to make a name for themselves.
Is this 2020? Or is this an older movie?
No, it's a new movie. It's a newer movie.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess 2020. I don't know the year. Are you looking it up?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So like I was saying, there's a young aspiring punk band trying to make a name for themselves in a local area. They're trying to book some shows. They're very down on their luck. The lead actress in it, we come into the movie and oh yeah, there it is. So they're looking for a ride because their van got repoed so they can go on tour, and they come across this guy, and he's she just said, "That's not your name," when he said what his name was. And that's a funny scene, but yeah, he ends up, they put a flyer on his van because they're looking for a ride.
Uh-huh.
And he offers to give him a ride. Yeah, there he is. So he transforms into that at midnight every night.
Oh.
And that scene that you just saw, that's her
Walking
discovering, him for the first time, so they end up, they're on the road, and all these mishaps keep happening and everything, and she's the first one to see him that way of the three band members that she's in. And after that scene, she's freaking out, and she comes running back out to the van, and her other bandmates are, oh my God, what's going on? Why are you covered in blood? And and she's trying to tell them that she saw him eating a guy. And they don't understand what she's trying to say. And then he comes running out, covered in blood, going, hold on, I can explain. And he's not all monstered out. He's back to normal, and he's just covered in blood. So that's when he tells them, every night at midnight he transforms into this thing, and the guy that he was eating was a promoter that was kind of a dick to them. So, without telling you too much about that movie, it's not your typical like fright horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of like a comedy horror.
Okay.
At least it was for me. I laughed the whole time. Okay, and the next one, The Monster Squad.
Monster Squad.
Yeah, it's an older movie. It is, I believe it's on YouTube. You can find it on YouTube for free to watch. Last I checked, it was there.
Is it
So
the
this-
Monster Squad?
I think it's The Monster Squad. It's about a group of kids around Halloween. They have a monster club where they, talk about monsters and stuff. And
Horror fantasy.
suddenly,
Oh, 1987.
Dracula shows up and he's causing trouble, and Frankenstein and Mummy and Werewolf and like the Gill Man, the creature from the Black Lagoon type of monster or whatever. But these aren't. They're very much those like universal monsters, but they're not like your typical looking universal monsters. It's definitely more of an update look to them. Yeah, there's a scene with the Mummy. So these kids, of course, they make the discovery that, hey, these monsters are real. They're really real. It's not just, we're not just talking about them now. So, and they're trying to do something bad that we've got to stop. And of course, nobody believes them. But yeah, it's a very much like Goonies, but with monsters.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never seen it before.
I'm pretty sure you've never seen Uncle Peckerhead either.
No. Well, that's obvious.
So yeah, there you go.
Awesome. I'll give him a whirl. Yeah. So let's see. Do I have any? All right. So yeah. Oh wait, where'd it go? It's supposed to be ticking. Tick tick ticking. There we go. Uncle Peckerhead and Monster Squad next week. Be there or be square.
We'll have to get the other guys to come in on this one, because I want to know what y'all think about specifically Uncle Peckerhead. Just that whole scene where he tells him his name. I was howling with laughter.
Yes. Jessica's gonna miss the next show if it's Friday, because she's going to go meet her Jeremy Renner, I believe.
Oh.
I think she's getting ready to go.
You can always catch the replay.
Yep. Absolutely. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I don't remember. But anyway, I digress. Any other final thoughts about
No.
life in general? Then I will play us out. Until next time. Let me